Welcome to the Noneillah Talk Show at CNJCN. I'm your host, Naomi Johnson. This segment is a special segment with my beloved son, who's the founder of the Noneillah brand. And I have a lovely special guest who's going to help me with not, I don't like to say memory. I like, because I don't want to associate anything that I know my son is not here. So I like to say in honor of Sean Cos Mason, aka Deshaun Johnson, Sean M. Cosmos. On his birthday, March the 5th would be my son's 34th birthday. And the gentleman I have here, my son had did a music collaboration with him. Um, he's a music artist. He's a producer, and he's a father. And actually, he also doing a fundraiser for his event. And he's going to share more about his event and talk about his collaboration with my beloved son, only child, Sean Cos Mason. So I would like to welcome, with further no further ado, Mike Larry Draw. Hello.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Did
It's
I
an
say
honor
that
to
all
be
right?
here. Yeah, you
Did
said
I?
my name right. You said it right.
Okay.
It's an honor to
Because I
be
want to
here.
make sure I enunciate it correctly.
Nah, you definitely said my name right.
Oh, okay. Well, I thank you, and I greatly appreciate, humbly appreciate it on the behalf of my beloved son, Sean Cos Mason, aka Deshaun. I get Sean M, Sean Mason, Cosmos. He had it all.
He had it all. He definitely did. He definitely
When
does.
it come to this music career, they switch their names. Like Puffy, P Diddy,
And
and
now
then,
he's loved now. I think
huh?
something like. I think it, I
Oh,
think Diddy's loved now. I
yeah,
think.
right. Love, like Kanye West. He was Kanye. Now he's Ye.
Yeah. Yee. Yeah.
G G, you know. So I
Yeah.
guess that's how it goes in the music industry. So what about yourself? You still Mike Larry
I'm still
Draw?
Mike Larry Draw. I'm gonna be Mike Larry Draw till there's no more Mike Larry Draws. That's it. I'm not changing anything. I was the first to say it, and I'm gonna continue saying it until everybody understands who I am. And what I'm here for.
That
So,
is now the first picture with the black and white. Could
hmm
you can I don't know. Yeah, can you tell me what those Chinese word means?
yeah. So it's legend, secret legend.
Mm-hmm.
So it is kanji, which is shared with the Japanese community. Um, and it says secret legend in Japanese. I'm not
Oh,
sure if
that's
it translates in Chinese the same, but
okay.
yeah. And then underneath that where it says EP 9, which is episode 9, it also
Right.
says episode. Um and yeah, that's my branding. um I've always been into Japanese culture as well as black culture, obviously. And there was something always important and interesting about the Japanese culture that I was always drawn to since a child. It's funny because as a kid I used to watch cartoons all day. It was Cartoon Network, it was Looney Tunes, but it was also Dragon Ball Z
Mm.
and Pokemon and all these other cartoons, which were from Japan.
My son was
Um,
into all that. What is
yeah,
that other? That's Dragon Ball Z with the
Dragon Ball Z,
guy.
yeah, yep, yep. We
With
was
the
always
Looney.
talk about we was always talk about that.
Oh, you and Deshaun.
Yeah, he so like as a child you grow up to still love cartoons, and sometimes adults will persuade you not to like cartoons anymore, and you find people that still love the same passion, that have that same passion to love cartoons as well as you. So it's called anime. So like you're 13 and you like we still like cartoons. Everybody's like, yeah, we still like cartoons. You 15, looking around like we still doing cartoons, y'all. Like, yeah, we still doing. All right, cool, cool. You 20 and you like cartoons, right, y'all? Yeah, yeah, we still watching. All right, cool, cool. You end up being 30. Like, yeah, we still doing this, right? Like, it's too late. We adults. We ain't stopping now. We still watching cartoons. So um a lot of it is because of the Japanese culture, that a lot of us are still watching it. Um but yeah, so I like I said, like Japanese culture's always been there. I don't know if you remember Power Rangers, but
Of course, my
Power
son used to
Rangers,
watch it. He had the
yeah,
Power Ranger whole the entire ensemble, the curtains, the sheets, the pajamas,
yep,
the
yep, he was doing it right. You was a good mom doing that one. That's right, you gotta have the whole thing. Well, funny enough, Power Rangers is from Japan. um
Mhm.
So what they did was they took the original Power Rangers videos and they superimposed a cut the American part in it. So all the fighting scenes where you don't see anyone's face is the original Japanese version of it. And then when you see the actually Americans doing whatever they doing, that's the put together. So um, it was a big hit in America. So that's how that went.
Yeah, because my son, he Power Ranger me out. And then after that, as he got older, when he turned 20, and I was giving away all his juvenile stuff.
Okay,
And he like, no, mom,
don't give it up.
don't give up my Power Ranger. I said, boy, you're 20 years old. What do you mean don't give
No,
up Power Rangers?
that don't matter. You gotta.
he
I
said,
remember.
uh, he said, no, no. He said, well, you can give the curtain, but I don't, I want my whole sheet, my his sheet sets and everything. He said, I would
Yeah,
like to keep that. I said, okay. So actually to this day, even
you
though my
got it. You
son,
still got it.
I still have it.
That's good. See, now that's smart.
I still
So
have,
that's
and
good.
and also with the Pokemon, because he was collecting those things.
Oh, the cards.
Um, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I wound up giving it to one of his friends, but he was a collector about them.
Okay.
And
They still got it though, right? Because you're gonna have to beat him if he ain't got it no more.
well, I hope James still has it. I don't even know.
Uh, we're gonna have to knock on his door. You
I
still
don't.
got them Pokemon cards?
I don't. I don't converse with them
Okay, I understand.
anymore, and
Okay.
they don't reach out to me. Well, be it. But
Right.
so I said, okay. So he had those. He had other stuff that he didn't want to get rid of,
Hmm.
like when he was 2 years old as a teddy bear. We went
Mm.
to the carnival,
Hmm.
the Meadowlands that come every year, the
Yeah.
Meadow Carnival. So he won his first stuffed animal. Well, he didn't want it, his father had won it
Mm.
and gave it to him. So as he getting older, I was giving away all his other stuffed animals that other people gave him.
Hmm.
But he kept his first childhood stuffed animal, and the first one that I gave him, and the first one that this female that he was in love with, Alicia, gave him. So those the one I still have, but the other ones he like, oh, you can get rid of them.
Mm.
Even though you're adult, you still hold on to those childhood memories.
Yeah. Yeah. So growing up, I had the Power Rangers. I had the one. I only had one Ranger. My mom was not trying to buy me the whole set, so I wasn't upset, but I had one, right? I had the Black Ranger, where you press the button on the back and his head flips around to become the
Okay.
Power Ranger. So I had that, and then I was really into Ninja Turtles, which was my jam. Like
Oh, he liked that too.
I had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bed sheets. I had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this, that, and the third. I remember I had X-Men. That was my thing too. X-Men. Oh, don't get me started on X-Men. I had all the X-Men, and my mom would not let me take them to school because we had like this little trading thing in school, where you bring a toy in, somebody else bring a different toy in, you trade for like a week or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to sneak it in because my mom was definitely checking book bags, and I had bought in one of my I bought in one of my toys to get a
I
skeleton
was
warrior.
I was checking his book bags too.
Yep.
You know, you're supposed to be in school learning, not being playing with no Power Ranger and Ninja Turtles and
Yep. Yep.
and be sneaking under the table playing in school. you
Yep.
know.
Lunchtime was the right time. Bring all the toys out. Everybody have their little toy wars. That's exactly what we was doing.
I guess that's what made you and him connect. So I want to get into your collaboration
Okay.
with I don't know what you call him, Sean Mason, Sean Cos Mason. What
When I first met him, he was Cosmos, and then
Cos
he cut it short to Cos, and then he went with Sean Mason, Sean M. So
yeah,
Sean,
all these
he's all that. He all that.
all mixed in one, same person but mixed in one.
Yep.
So hi, can I ask how did you met him?
Oh, that's so interesting. I met Cos through Ice Grill when Ice Grill was a thing. I think if I'm not mistaken, originally I met him at a Grand Time event. If it wasn't the Grand Time event, it was definitely at 14th Street Union Square, where um I was a videographer at the time
Okay.
shooting this thing called Animal Concrete. And me and another friend of mine, we had the cameras, and a couple of battle rappers asked me to come because they knew I did videography, and he was like, "Yo, we got these battles coming up," and that's why I met some of the Ice Grill uh homies, and Kaz was there, and we all were just chopping it up, and that whole group, the whole Ice Grill group, was like so open and familiar to me, like we met before, even though this was like our first time. And yeah, so we all vibed out, and something about Kaz personality wise I felt as though I was more drawn to him as a friend than anything, because like we would just chat, laugh, and joke, and just be funny. And where I'm from, like you really don't get that as much. All my friends is kind of gangster, so like I didn't really hang out with them as much, but it was always great to have like a positive person um around that you can relate to, so he was definitely one of those people. um and that's kind of how it started. Once I started hanging out with the Ice Girl group, that's I kind of just, I guess you can say, I kind of just got absorbed into that world a little bit with the battle rapping and hanging out with them more. But mostly I would hang out with Cause, if anything.
So between you guys building your friendship relationship and I guess music relationship. So I guess you had I know I heard the one that my son had you on his track and you had him. So I guess
Yeah.
he said, "Oh, I got a track." I'm trying to remember the terms that you guys use in the music world. Jump on this track.
Yeah,
I got this verse you can
I
jump
jumped
on.
on the track. Yeah, I jumped on the track. The track that he gave me originally was super fire, so I had to definitely come correct on my verse. And I sent him the verse. He was like green light, thumbs up.
Hmm.
And then I was just like, yo, I got one for my album, which is off the Profound New Law album. Interestingly enough, I think I'm gonna remaster that, so we got to talk about that too. And so Kaz can get his credit in, as well as whatever revenue that comes through that way. So we got to talk about that. But so Kaz jumped on the one that on my album, and he bought his verse, and I was just like, all right, now I gotta make sure it's sounding good, you know what I'm saying, and did what I did, and put that out. And honestly, that's literally one of my favorite tracks of the
I like
album.
it. Believe
Yeah,
it, a lot of cursing in it, but I like it. I
yeah,
really like both of you guys with you on his album and he's on your album.
right.
I like both of them, and the verses,
Hmm.
especially with the one on your album, you
Yeah,
and his verse really actually complement each other.
yeah.
And I know who his fast rapping.
Hmm.
I'm like, what he trying to be another Buster? His fast rapping, and yours is like it's not as fast, but it's you speed, but you have a different tempo
Pace.
with it, a
Yeah,
pace, right? Which actually complement each other. I
right.
was listening to it earlier. I was going to play it, but unfortunately it wouldn't play because I had edited it so I can play. I had to edit the curse out words,
Yeah.
so I was going to play, but unfortunately it couldn't play.
Okay.
Your verse and his verse. What it was it? Hip hop, the S word, SHI, right?
Ships. P.
Ship.
We're gonna
Thank you.
P.
And
Yeah.
that was on your album, and his was East Side, West Side, East
East
Side.
Side, was it East Side? I think it was East Side. That I
Yeah.
love that track. That was a hit. That was definitely a hit. That still is. I think like if you would say like hood song
Mhm.
classics, I think that
Mhm.
would be it. Like if you would play anything in a car, that would be one of them. Like, you gonna go, I don't know where you going. You on the West Side Highway going downtown or something. That would be the song you would play just to get a vibe going. I think that was one of those.
I
Um,
was listening to that. It made me cry, because he mentioned something about me.
mm,
He like, Mom, I got to remember the verse.
mm,
He's doing for the hustler. He's doing it for me. And, he hope, I know sometimes he's a screw up. And I'm like, cried, because some of the songs that I have listened to, he was actually paying homage, uplifting me, as
mm,
well as my poetry, because I am a self-published poet, and my poetry that I write, of course, it was incorporated with him.
mm,
So this shows the mother and son love, because not knowing as we writing, not talking about it, but later on we came together. You're like, oh,
mm,
I wrote something about you, and I'm like, oh, I wrote something important about you, but we had we used to bounce our thoughts on one another,
mm,
and I remember he was saying way before what happened to him, he's like, Mom, I'm going to get a tattoo. So
mm.
forgive me if I start tearing up,
Okay.
you know. He like, Mom, get a tattoo, what you wanted. And he like, I want to know what I'm going to get. He said, so to put a tattoo on you, your name or something, because I know you're a spiritual person, something that is symbolic with you and I. And I'm like, okay. And so he like, well, let's go together and get a tattoo. I'm like, son, I don't like needles. I said, that you on your own. I cannot be no one junkie shooting up needles. I cannot stand needles in my arm, in my mouth, nowhere. Me and needles are not my friend.
Yeah, I feel it. I don't like those neither. I ain't gonna
You
lie to
know,
you.
oh, my eyes are tearing. Oh, excuse me, I gotta jump back into my train of thought here,
Mm.
because teary eyed thinking. So yes, what are your plans on doing? Which new project you have coming up?
Well, here's the interesting dilemma. So all of the music that I've ever made is on this hard drive that can't open because of my computer. My computer, I guess, corrupted
Oh
the hard
wow.
drive, and I have two versions of the hard drive. Right, I have
Hmm.
the version that I knew was gonna go out, so I bought a brand new one and transferred everything over, and I was like, I'm good to go. And then the new one, it doesn't want to open, so I'm just like, I know that the hard drive can open on a PC, and I use Mac, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna save up. Well, do this fundraiser, and then once I reach my goal, I'll buy the new Mac, and then I bought a new hard drive, and I'm gonna transfer that over to the new hard drive, and then I don't have to worry about it being corrupted because it's a brand new computer. So
So
I'm
when
I'm
is your
just
fundraiser? I'm sorry. When is your fundraiser?
I'm actually doing it now. I'm hoping to. Oh, I just need 700 more. That's it, $700 more, and I'm good to go.
So what you doing, like your fundraiser on GoFundMe, or
I'm
are you
actually
having I think I saw you having like a party or some kind of event for your fundraiser?
Yeah, I
Correct?
actually did the event.
Okay.
It went well. It still left me with a balance, but however, I'm still persevering. I did it on my website. I don't believe in uh third party, if you will. I see that like if I did it on Kickstarter is going to take a percentage, and I
Mhm.
get it. I'm using their platform, so
Mhm.
like why wouldn't they take a percentage? And so I have my own platform, and
Mhm.
people who want to support me are people I know, so they're gonna go to my platform anyway. And so um instead of Kickstarter or Indiegogo taking any of the percentages, I get all of it, and I can use that money to get what's needed instead of having to raise even more money or asking for even more just to balance that percentage that they're taking. Um, the more interesting thing is if I don't reach my mark, automatically I don't get anything. And sometimes even a little bit counts to get
Right.
something, you know? So I decided not to do Kickstarter. I decided not to do Indiegogo and these other places because no one's from that platform is actually coming to my platform to help me. So
Right.
I might as well just do it on my platform.
Now, I like to know how did you feel when you heard about the tragic news about what happened to my son?
Honestly, I was confused and devastated at the same time because I got the phone call, and when they told me what happened, I was confused. Like, what do you mean, cause passed? Like, I was just talking to him, like ordeal. Um, and at this time, I was actually moving too, uh, out of the city, so I wasn't able to make it to a funeral or anything like that, or even be able to be a part of anything at that point in time. It was kind of a interesting time because things was just happening one after the other. Um, so yeah, that was very devastating. Something that I don't know if he ever told you, but like him and I were teaming up as a group. I started this group at the same exact time, maybe like 3 weeks or 2 weeks before he passed. We are talking about starting a group called the Anomaly Conglomerate. It was going to be me, him, a guy named Mandeep Sethi, who's from the West Coast, and a great friend of mine that I grew up with, who went by Omar Sharad. He goes by Omar Sharad now, and yeah, and his causes talent and what he brought to the table when it came to energy was like the perfect everything for what we were doing. Especially if I was producing, I was making the beats. Kaz was, doing what he was doing, I was doing what I was doing, and it just felt perfect because all of our personalities would have meshed together really well. So I remember he came to the city to hang out with me too. And it was me, him, and this other kid who we actually thought was a little insane because we were in Bushwick, just talking about like what we wanted to do when it came to the group and everything, and if he wanted to join and all that stuff. And I don't even know how to explain the quirkiness of me and Kaz looking at this random kid who was following us and saying weird things and doing weird things, and like our threshold of trolling,
Mhm.
the live trolling is pretty high, but this guy was just topping everything, and me and Kaz was looking at each other like, is he a crackhead? Is he okay? Like, what is up with him? Is he on drugs? But he wasn't on drugs. I've come to find out, like, he's a pretty good friend of mine now. But it was just interesting. It was an interesting night, and it was a really fun night. Um, yeah, Kaz was a breath of fresh air. Honestly, he
Thank
still
you.
is to me. Honestly, um, and yeah, I'm sure you've seen most of the video. That's out. I did the concept at one point. I was
Yeah, I
doing
saw that one. Oh, you did that.
yeah, I was the
When you
videographer.
guys was he was freestyle. Everybody was freestyling.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So the quality of the video for that time was pretty okay. I know the audio, I wish if I knew more then it would, it obviously sound way better, but it was,
Mhm.
the limitations of what I had. So yeah, I would have these moments and be like, yo, I gotta call Kaz. I'm like, yo, Kaz, you gotta come out here and do some ciphering, man. I got this new idea called the concept. I'm trying to do this cipher thing. And I invited him and that the whole ice grill vibe. And yeah, we did stuff like that. Anytime they had like a battle, I would go. I'd try my best to be there and hang out and kind of just like network and vibe and stuff. But yeah, Kaz is awesome. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you. Yeah,
Mhm.
well, good afternoon, Athea Hayes. I see you. Say good afternoon. I see her response.
Good
Thank you.
afternoon.
Yeah, that's a friend of mine. She had I see her message.
Mm,
Thank you for joining and watching. Yes, I just want to give her that shout out since I see her, let her know I see her.
mm,
Um, yeah, trying to raise my son up very respectfully, and she said, "I see you too,"
mm,
and, and to be humble,
mm.
and respect people, and don't start drama, or trouble, you
Right.
know, and use wisdom, more so action.
Mm,
So, and in terms of his, a lot of people like he's so lyricist
mhm.
because I used to take him to college with me. He sat in class with me
Nice.
when he was younger. He was so in tune. He used to raise his hand when I was taking up my reading literature. It was so boring. We were looking at Macbeth and everything. I was bored, but he was so into it. Raising hands. And so he also was in my class when I took up music appreciation,
Mm,
and he really got the feel of it because I had to listen to different genre and the
mm,
history of music to the Baroque period and all the way up,
mm,
jazz, blues. And so some people say when you listen to his music, you see he incorporate that into his music. And I hear a lot of people like, wow, he's really good. He's like no other artist that I have heard. And before what happened to him on one of his music, the Jersey from Jersey, Coughing Kodak, Coke, something's one of his songs. So somebody had responded like, "Wow, he's really good." Is he a celebrity? Is he a famous? And I know when I did certain events, and I was passing out flyers, I didn't realize how many people knew him under
mm,
Sean Cos Mason and Cos, or they
mm.
like, "Oh, Cosmos," and I was like so surprised. But I just want you to put your little plug in because we get ready to come to the end. I want you to
Okay.
put your, but we can still talk after this. I
Okay.
want people to find you. How can people find you? Your social media.
Yeah. The best way to find me, I know everyone's on Instagram now, so you just type in Mike Mike Larry Larry draw DRAW, and all one word. Or you can go to my website, my name MikeLarryDraw.me. And there you would find all the information of the don't the crowdfunding fundraiser. Yeah, and that's it. And be on
You
the lookout.
guys, please go and support him. He was a good collaborator. My son and him, it was really good music. And I thank you for watching the Now Illa Talk Show at CNJN. Thank you. Take care. Now we can still talk. I just had to put that little plug in for it,
Okay.
when it airs on TV.
Okay.
So I mean we could still talk with
Of
the
course.
Facebook. You know,
Okay.
but I forgot. I just lost my train of thought that quick. Watching the times and it's like, the countdown. 30 minutes go so fast.
It do.
Um, my son, he will be turning 34 without me. And I and it's still like painful, you
Mm,
know. And I remember when you reached out to me, like, oh, I send my condolences, and you like, yeah, me and Kaz and I had wrote us what rap together, and
mhm,
whatever proceed I give, I can give to you on his behalf. And that was just so touching. And so when I got on his page and I saw a lot of people, guys from like, I don't know if it's the same guy from the West Coast. He was from California. He on Facebook, he reached out to my son like, "Oh yeah, I would like to collaborate with you, do a collaboration with you. You're good,
mm,
man. You're good, or dope, you know."
mhm,
And I remember when it happened on, I cannot stand that number 18. That's not a good number for me. Um, and my son had plans to do a video on the 19th with
mm,
one of his music. Oh, Pam, I think that is it. And on the 19th. He had everything planning. He had actually was promoting it on all his social media platform, and
Mm,
he did his last tweet on that day, early that morning on the 18th. That 5 hours later, my son didn't know he was not going to be here on this earth.
right.
So when you see things something like that, people say when people transition, they can feel they transition. You try to find all the signs. But my
Mm,
son was like promoting, was getting ready for his video shoot because he was supposed to do a video shoot on the 19th,
mm,
on Thursday the 19th, July the 19th. And after what happened, one of the guys who was supposed to shoot the video just he's like, I don't believe it. We were supposed to be doing a video shoot, and when I searched, I saw he was actually again trying to get crowds to come to his video shoot. And you have people saying, "Oh yeah, I wake up. I thank God I'm here. I thank God I wake up." But I say, you know what? My son woke up, and then 5 years, 5 hours later, his life was gonna be taken. So you
yeah.
saying because a person don't wake up, they're they're not quote unquote blessed. But the people who wake up, they're blessed to see another day. But within an hour or a second,
Mm,
they off this earth. So I try not to get into it, these cliches and everything.
yeah.
I mean, especially what I've been going through, I've been hearing people like, "Oh, at least you're still breathing." I'm like, you know what? That's such an
That's
asinine,
selfish.
asinine remark. I say
Yeah.
because everybody who's breathing is not alive. People who's in a coma,
Yeah.
they breathing, but
They're
how
not
we know if
here.
they're alive or not?
Yeah.
Even someone don't have to have a machine. Some of them still be in coma. So I had this like it was so crazy with this female one going back and forth with me over some religion. I said I'm not no atheist, but I don't trying to get in conversation with religion thing because I'm not going to sit here and debate about God's word or the Bible.
Yeah.
So I was telling
Mhm.
her, I said, well, the Bible contradicts itself. She said, no, 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 no. The Bible contradicts itself 144 times, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it does. Oh no, 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 no. I said, well, I don't like to get into religion thing, and it was like all these cliches she was saying. I said, you know what, people like that, when you're not feeling that. You're not feeling my pain. You're not living that. And people want to do these cliches.
Mhm.
But I'm living reality. This is reality. I live with the image of my son, what they show me, meaning the attorney and the lawyer that I had for my son, trying to mentally and spiritually break me, show me distorted image of my son.
Mm,
In which they did, and it lives in my head like a replay. I don't care how much I talk it, pray out, and I've been giving it to God, but it's still there. It's just like a soldier who going to war,
mhm.
and they sit here and they been a war in the people's life. It's still a scar in they soul and in their mind. And I'm like, okay, we're not going to go on. I said, you know what? I have a show coming up, and I'm not going to go into this with you right about now. And
Mm,
oh well, you go into the cemetery. What's the use to go into the cemetery? He's not there. The Bible said this. I said, hold up. Before you start talking about the Bible and you quote the Bible, and I'm putting up, Googling it, show her what the scripture means, so she gets upset. Well, I'm human. I said, see, this is what hypocrites said. Hypocrites do that. They put scriptures that apply to them,
right.
you know, and telling me, I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to the cemetery, aren't I human?
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting you say that because what I'm hearing is that person is ignorant and they don't have empathy. They would never they would never understand, and they don't know when to be quiet. Because one, like, no one understands that pain. Like, I wouldn't understand that pain. I have 2 kids, and I can't fathom that. It's but I know to shut up. You know what I mean? When someone has is speaking their truth, their pain. And that's unfortunate that that person couldn't understand that, like, they don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, the Bible, okay, fine, but like, you can't bring that up when someone's in pain and mourning. So
Right. I'm
it's
like,
unfortunate.
I'm like, okay, first of all, my belief and your belief, I mean, understanding, not belief, but understanding of the scripture is totally different than what you understand. We all meet a certain level, you know. I also had somebody say, oh, you know, I said, about once you have when you're going to have your child going to have a child, a grandchild, a godchild. And they said, oh, once you have your own, you know how hurtful that was? Talking about when I have my own. My son is not here. I'm never, never, ever going to have a child, grandchild. My son doesn't have any children, not that I know of,
Yeah.
you know. And, you know, people say of selling things, especially when they have their children with them. I had the incident, my shoemaker, he said something like that to me. Oh, you gotta come to the grips with it. You got to live in all this other cliches. Do you know 6 months later, his son was going off this earth? So
Mm,
coming to me crying, and his heart became convicted, started being apologetic, all the stuff he was saying, because
mm,
everything he was saying to me, people was telling him, and he didn't want to hear it.
yeah.
And see, when people again have their children, they see these cliches. They're always supposed to help God this, God that, God that, and I'm like, you know what? From me knowing as certified counselor
Yeah.
and going to therapy, you know, these certain things you don't say to people, and the ignorancy and the buffoonery that people say and do. You know, I'm like, you stay away from that. And if I tell you, okay, this is not the time, let's stay away from it, and you're still being aggressive, I'm like, okay, well, the Bible talking about provoking people.
Right.
Why would you provoke? I said we can go on different scriptures what the Bible saying about this. Yes, my situation is my situation. You think I signed up for this situation? I'm like, I cry every day, morning and noon for my child.
Mm,
While you wake up looking at your children and you want to sit here and give me advice, you're not in this grieving community. So I don't need your advice. So keep your advice to yourself. Not only that, you're not a professional psychologist, you're not a professional therapist
mm,
to provide such asinine remarks and comments, and you think you healing or helping a person, but when a person tell you that is not helping and you still be aggressive and do so, now
mm,
you're being ignorant and you're being selfish. You know, so I said that, I'm like, this is not the time, and I knew I had to get my mind together, my mind right, because I knew I was coming here. Thank you,
mm,
Athea. I see you say, I'm looking at her comment. You're a
mm.
great mom. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You are. You definitely a great mom. Like, I know that you're not my mom, but you and my mom would get along fantastically because everything that you've told me about Kaz and how like you raised him is the same way my mom raised me. So you a fantastic mom. You know what I'm saying? And you keeping your son's name alive. And I think that's amazing. I think that's honorable.
Oh, sure.
And yeah, like
Oh, she
that's
in?
what's up.
Okay. Okay.
I
Oh,
think that's honorable. And
okay. You want to tag her in with it? Oh, you go. Oh, you add her in. Oh, we got to add in. Hey,
hey,
Winnie.
Oh,
I
hello.
thought you was not going to be on. Yes, because
Oh,
I did a confirmation because I'm like, okay, then we just go on and, as they would say, chop it up with Mike here. Because I'm
yeah.
like, I said I didn't get a confirmation, so because you were
I
supposed to be at one
apologize for that.
o'clock.
I had sent texts and emails, but I'm also in a different time zone. So I was like, I don't know if maybe I got my time mixed up, but
Oh,
I'm
okay.
here.
Um, okay. Well, again, I could say, add this back on. Welcome to the Noneillah Talk Show.
Yes. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. I
Thanks
don't
for
know. I
having
don't
me.
want to. Do you still have something to do, Mike? Or you?
who me? I don't even
Yes.
know what time it is.
You
I'm
know.
just vibing right now.
Okay. I don't want to interrupt you. I
I
mean, you
got
can still intervene, stay on or not.
I have about like a 15 minutes and then I have to go.
Well,
But
when you do, you can always jump off. You know, and I can continue on with her. But again, I
okay.
like to say, welcome to the Noneillah Talk Show at CNNJ. And
Come
I'm a
on.
special guest of Deshaun, aka Sean Kice Mason birthday.
Yeah.
And it's oh yeah, here get the cake. Too bad you guys can't be here.
Yeah,
You
come
guys
on.
could have
When
got
you gonna
Yeah.
cut that cake? Can we get some
hmm?
cake cutting? Can we get some cake cutting?
What'd you say, Mike?
When you gonna cut the cake? Like, can we just? You might as well just have some now.
Yeah, I'm gonna mail it to you.
All
Thank-
right.
So I said, well, the balloons and everything here, and again, we Mike and I was talking about my son and his personality. Do you like to chime in about you laughing? Yeah, I know
Yeah.
I know he was a character. He was comical. I'm quite sure you guys can witness to his comedic personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Comedic, I think. Yeah.
That's the first thing that comes to light when I think about him. Is just his joy and his personality, and he was just freely him. He was so freely him, and he gave permission to be like for other people to be themselves too. So I love that he wasn't so cookie cutter, um, cookie cutter personality. He wasn't just a product of his environment. And so he just, yeah, he was just an incredible person. So I can't help but like smile and like when I think of Deshaun, because he was just a joy, so
I had pictures of you with him. I don't know if you can be able to put it back, Joy. Can you be able to put the pictures of him with her? Remember, I had the pictures of her, and I wasn't sure his baby picture. And oh, okay, yeah. So I had some nice pictures with you and him that I had, and he had on his page and on your page with him. You was he was hugging you. Yeah, I can't. I think that when you
yeah,
was I was
I
at
was
camp,
hugging him, and
right?
he was pretending to not like photos at the time. So he was just like, "No, I won't smile," like just being him. And I think we were at a like a fire pit, little cookout or whatever. But we were just at the summer camp where we had met. So we were just enjoying being out there. And so, yeah, he was pretty cool. We were just at that summer camp out in New Jersey, and it was really fun just like spending the summers with him. Actually, like that's like actually where we got to know each other's personality, and then we both ended up living in New Jersey. So I being born and raised in Jersey City, and then moving out to the Newark, South Orange area, but being very familiar with Elizabeth and all the surrounding areas because of my family being out there. So it was cool to develop a relationship like on and off of the camp in the summer and year round. So
Yeah, I'm quite sure you and Mike can tell. I'm quite sure he used to crack jokes on people
Yes.
all the time.
Yes. He
and
was
used to make
hilarious.
it
He's
make you.
Yeah,
Oh, there it is. Back of the picture.
there it is. That's that's so him.
And he when he was trying to cover his eye, didn't want to take pictures.
Yeah, yep, that's so him. Yeah, he was such a joy to be around, and it was never, he also
Never a
knew how
dull
to
moment.
never a dull moment, and he knew how to turn like awkward situations into comedic like situations. So he just was like so great.
I know. I'm gonna put this little plug in. I know this female. Her name Tamara. If she watching, sorry for pronouncing your name incorrectly, but she would share her story with my son when she was in college with him. And she was saying my son would sit there with her because she was feeling upset about something, and my son just sit there, and she told him, go away, and he wouldn't. And she said he just sat there. And he said, well, okay, well, whenever you're ready to talk, I'm going to be here.
Mm.
And so later on, she said since she couldn't get rid of him, so she was actually sharing what was on her heart. And then, he gave his advice. And she was saying to me, I never knew a guy like him, can love their mother so much. She said, I always thought it was on TV, seeing a mother and son relationship is so close. He said, my sons told her, "Well, you know what? That's my friend." She like, "What you mean it's her friend?" He said, "Well, my mother is my friend and my mom." He said, "You know what? I could tell my mother everything. You know,
Mhm.
she probably won't agree with me with certain things, but she will still support me regardless." You know, and I remember when he was younger, and he used to say, "Oh, this when he was in kindergarten. Oh, this is hard." And I said, "Never say hard. Hard is never going to be in your vocabulary. Nothing in life is hard. It's a challenge. Sometimes we or an obstacle. Sometimes we get over obstacles, and sometimes we don't, or we have to work harder. Or challenges is something you can do, get through." And when it happened to him, I saw somebody said that what I told him, he wound up sharing them the same advice. And when I read it, of course, I cried. You know, sometimes when you think your children are not listening to us,
Yeah, we listening.
you know, but like, okay, I told him so many times or told her so many times, it's just so hard headed. But then after that, later on, you'll say, oh, they just was being a little obstinate, but they was listening.
Mhm.
They was listening. So when I saw some of the stuff and advice that he shared on his Facebook, people like, I had to put on my shirt. And this people I know I just cut off a sentence. People were sharing their experience with him about him, how he was so helpful and gave them word of wisdom. And with this shirt here was his prom,
Mhm.
his senior prom,
Mm.
and this I he had picked me up. I didn't have that picture. He had picked me up and he put me down. He had helped me, so I had kissed him on his face. You know, and when people see some of the images, they were like, you know, wow, you can see the love with you and your son. And then it's just painful that he gets snatched away from me deliberately. I don't know if you guys had been keeping up what was going on in the story about what happened, you know, how they was saying that it was an accident, come and find out it was not an accident and the driver deliberately and purposely ended my son's life, you know, and unfortunately he cannot be here with me and you guys, which is painful. Wendy, you said where you live at? Where do you
I live
live?
in Dallas, Texas now.
Oh, okay, because you said the time zone. That's how come I'm like time zone.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. When how you like it out there?
I love it. Yeah, it's a great area to be in. Dallas is a thriving city, so just out here
Oh,
doing life.
You didn't escape the snow though, did you?
For the most part, yeah.
Oh,
We have maybe like a week or two where we have freakish weather. Snow in
mm,
the South's a little different. It's not like Northeast snow. Um, the South kind of gets like crippled by cold weather.
yeah.
So we kind of just stay home when the weather is bad, which is very not Northeast, right? Like Northeast is like we just, you know, 7 inches of snow outside and your manager's still calling you and asking if you're coming to work. But here, it's like maybe like an inch of snow or some freezing rain, and the South just everything stops. Like stores don't open, they don't want you on the road, and so
because they're
it's
not
not
equipped.
quite snow, but it's a snow day because we have to stay home.
Right.
Oh, so because they're not equipped with the
Yeah,
snow, because that's
yeah,
what happened when I was in North Carolina. It was snow like crazy. Those people didn't know what to do. It was not
Yeah.
a lot of
they did
snow for
not.
me because from up being up here, but they shut everything down, and they didn't
Yeah,
have so much salt because they never had that accumulation of snow, so they didn't know what to do.
What
You
to
know,
do?
coming from here, but like we look at like, oh man, they shutting the school down for this.
You're right.
yeah, yeah.
You still gotta go to school too. It could be a million feet. You better get yourself on
You
that
got to
train
go
to
to
get to
school.
school.
Yeah, you don't have enough
Especially
One
snow
heck of a
days.
upstate
day.
New York.
Yep.
Upstate New
Yeah,
York, they
yeah.
get like
That's a
snow.
way of life for them. Yeah. Nope. And then as quick as the cold comes is as quick as it goes.
Mm.
It'll be 30 something whatever with the weather. And the only way we get out because of the ice and all that stuff, the only time we can get out is when it warms up. So it'll be 30 something and freezing and then 50 degrees the next day and then we're all back to life. So
Mm.
Now,
it's
have
just
Deshaun ever have Deshaun? Well, you know him as Deshaun, well,
yeah.
Sean Mason, Kaz as he
Yes.
know. Ever try and get you on one of his music on his track?
Yeah, well, we used to listen to his music a lot, and then he was always like, asking me what I thought cuz I like from what I had did with music and stuff, but we had worked on a couple things together, but actually I was just I want to say just like a student of what he was doing because I was not into hip hop or anything like that, but I respected his way with words and his ability to catch a beat was really fun, and his way of incorporating, he was very artistic in everything, an amazing artist, like a visual artist, and then how he was with words, and how he was with music, and hearing him talk about hip hop was a lot of fun too because he had his favorites, but then he was very critical in the best way of some other artists, so that was always fun. It made me interested in hip hop and rap. It made me interested. I never delved into it, but I because of his love for it, I was like, yeah, okay, I can check out this song. I could do these things. So
Because I know he also do metaphoric music too.
yeah,
And you heard his Christian one because I remember I saw on Facebook. I think this is way back when. And you're like, oh well, I don't do it because of a little cursing in it.
yeah,
But he had one called "Life Hurts."
yep, yes,
That's
yeah,
that doesn't have any curse in
yep,
it. I did the
yeah,
Woman Expo and I played that part, that music, "Life
yeah.
Hurt," and actually that's when he was still in high school when he made that track.
Mm,
And I took it to work with me when I was working in the school system. And the students, they really like it. They like was vibing to it. And so one of the teachers who I was talking to, they were like, "Oh yeah, you really like that, huh?" They like, "Yeah." Who was it? They like, "This is her son." This is when he was in his senior. My son was in his senior year or junior year when he made Life Hurt.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, Mike, aren't you? Don't you produce movies?
Yeah, actually, I worked in television for a very long time. Actually, when I met Kaz, I was working in television. Um, I've worked with like Spike Lee. I've worked with Tyra Banks. I've worked. I can just name names all day, but yeah, I'm kind of still in it.
Yeah, because I saw when I had Google, I had saw that you have won a Grammy nominated Grammy
Yeah,
for.
I'm Grammy nominated for music. So I've been working with various artists in the music industry, and one of them that I got an opportunity to work with was Christian Scott, who's a horns player. He's like one of the greatest horns player of our time right now,
mm,
and he heard me rap, and he was like, "Yo, I would love to have you on the album," and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." I didn't really know much of him at that time, but I went to the studio with him, recorded my verse, and then a few months later, he was nominated for the album I was on, and because I have the credits and everything on the album, I became Grammy nominated. So I was just like, oh, all right, that's kind of cool.
Oh, okay, yeah, wow.
Hmm.
So you say you did dab the music too, Winnie.
yeah. So I'm a Christian artist, worship leader, interim. So I travel, play for churches. Um, the ministry I work for now, we're missionaries, so we travel around the world. I just got back from Israel like 4 days ago, and so
Oh,
and
okay.
then on the side of that, I have my own creative projects. So I'm a creative for work, but I have my own creative projects. So I have like an EP where I just have like it's kind of like a journal entry. I have a couple unfinished songs on there. I have finished songs on there, but really the EP for me was about getting a project done because especially as a creative, you can always want to refine a project, and I just wanted to finish one. So I have an EP, I have a podcast, I have digital art out there, so it's a lot of fun. Yeah, music's a lot of fun.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's good. Um, I greatly appreciate it, and I'm quite sure my son gave every one of you guys some good thoughts and memory of him, and some good and bad, some disagreements and some happiness, and
Well, I
Yeah,
could definitely say I've never had a disagreement with Cause
I
or a
think
bad
that's what
moment.
it is.
It was
Yeah,
always fun with him. So
I don't think I ever had. I've seen him maybe have disagreements with other people, but
yeah.
He's just a deeply relational person. And
Mm.
so I don't think him and I ever had fights or anything like that, because we just, at the end of the day, like, the goal is connection, like our friendship matters and all that stuff. But he's also somebody who stood up for himself. And so if somebody was maybe not treating him right, or he didn't think that someone else was being treated right, he would definitely stand in the gap. And so I've seen him like be bold in those areas. But yeah, it's only joy. It's the things that I can remember about him. I remember my brother Danny loved him because he was a excellent gamer. And my
Oh
brother
yes.
was, yeah.
Me and Mike was talking about the games.
Oh really? Yeah. And
Yeah.
for my brother Danny, he's like 2 years younger than me. Deshaun was always like a standard for him. Like, he was always like, you know, because I remember Deshaun used to be heavy, and then he like was very fit. Like, he was just like the goal of being fit. How he pursued karate, like what he was looking at in karate and jiu-jitsu and wrestling, and how
Oh
he
yeah, can
was.
we see his karate picture?
Oh, cool! You have a karate
You got a
picture.
karate picture?
Yeah, that one. When he was younger. That's his picture in karate.
Oh,
Nice.
oh!
That's cool.
I love it.
Yeah, he
I love
did
it.
martial arts, different form. Even as he got older, he did a lot, and he
Yeah,
also did wrestling.
Mm.
yeah.
So yeah, that was his karate.
Mhm.
I love that. Yeah. And I remember at the summer camp, it was like a Christian summer camp, and the boys, so we used to have like two age groups. I know we had like older teenagers, maybe like 7th to 12th grade, but also like from 4th to 6th grade. But the boys, like for my brother, who at the time, maybe I think they were the same age, but also the kids, like he was such a standard for all of the boys. Like, he had the cool hair because his dreads was at the time, and he was always refining his dreads and stuff like that. And then how he was at wrestling, like the boys used to always try to take him one-on-one because they're just like, no, we're gonna beat him. And
Because they thought he was short.
basketball.
They thought he was short. This is one of his music when he was playing. Was you? I'm sorry for cutting you out on Winnie.
Yeah.
Were you here, Mike, when they did this?
Um, I was definitely in that room. I don't know if it was that specific that time, because we shot a music video in that room.
Do you know the
Um,
guy he's with, D Boy?
I don't remember him honestly, but I definitely have been in that room. That's the basement where everybody used to do battles and like rap and ciphers and all types of stuff. So yeah, I've definitely traveled there to do to hang out.
Yeah. Oh
Honestly, I
Lord.
don't think they're gonna have any pictures of me. I
Let
was
me this picture. You know he was on the billboard in Times Square.
nice.
I remember that picture.
Yeah, the picture that was his album cover,
Yes.
and I had submitted it to the billboard, like a contest, and they had put that on the billboard for me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he was on the billboard twice.
Wow.
Look at that,
Yes.
shining still. That's great.
Yeah, he was on the billboard, and it was another picture I just saw. This here, Tremont Avenue. This way he
Oh,
was
nice.
raised up. He was raised
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
when
in
he
Montclair, right?
no, that's in East Orange.
Oh,
Mhm.
East Orange. Okay.
Yeah, he had went to kindergarten there, and he came and told me, he like, Ma, I'm doing an album cover. I went to back where I used to well, it didn't look like that when we lived there. It's a little ramshack, but
Yeah.
it looked a little better. But he like,
Wow.
Mom, I went back to where where I was raised up at, and I took a picture for my album. I said, Oh really? He said, Yes. And this is my heartwarming picture. It's very emotional. As you see, that was all I have. That was
Mm.
all I have. All I had, on this earth plane, and that was my world. The one on the pictures on the left here was from his graduation
Mm,
with the blue,
Yeah.
mhm.
and the one with the white. That's actually he took a photo shoot with me for my book, my soality book that I had did for poetry.
Mm.
He like, I said, "You want to take a picture? Do you have class today?" He said, "Yeah, I have class, but I'm going to skip it." He said, "Because I never miss school. I never miss class." So he said, "So I'm going to take a picture," when he was in college. And the other picture was his prom. The same picture I think I have here
Yeah.
was up there, was from his prom pictures. And the other one with the pillow, I made a pillow that was up there with different sayings um, about a mother's love and a son's love, you know, because sons and mothers, they have this strong connection. I mean, not saying daughters and mothers do, but sometimes, with daughter and mother, they can fall out, female energy.
Mm.
But, with the sons and mothers, they have sons trying to be the mother's father,
Mm.
trying to be the father, trying to tell what to do. That's what they do. Yeah, you
I,
laughing because you do the same thing with your mom.
I do tell my mom. Like, did you eat today, mama? What'd
Yep.
you eat today? All right, now you got your vegetables because she did it to me, so it's my turn now.
I'm gonna tell you about a story about Sean say something like that. But this is a picture right here with he was actually it was a few days ago. He was published on the magazine cover. This
Beautiful.
picture. This is the back magazine cover
Wow.
of which is located in Los Angeles.
Oh
Man
Wow.
wow.
Food magazine. Yes, they published him. This is a birthday publication that they did for me. I submitted, and
Mm.
he actually had front cover. There's a front cover there too. That's the back cover. There we
Mm.
go. That's the front cover.
There we go.
Look all sexy, right?
I
Sexy
mean, he was a great friend. I can't call him sexy now. He was a
yeah.
handsome man. I say that.
You can say that, handsome man.
Handsome man.
Yeah. So that's his. I forget the female who took this picture. I never could pronounce her name correctly. Yamina. I'm not even gonna try because I don't want to mess it up. But she took this image, and what I did, I backed out the original background and put that in, and they liked the image, and they
Mm.
had put that on the front cover.
Wow.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
he was published in like 3 magazines,
that's
Hey,
great.
listen.
It's a
He,
great.
and
like I
of course a
said,
lot of articles on his music endeavor, his career, which was unfortunately cut short. And people like, yeah, he was a rising star.
he's a
Had
star. He don't got to rise. He's a star.
thank you.
He's always been
And
great. So,
there's another magazine that had wrote an article. This is from Jersey. I couldn't
Mm.
get the whole script, and they put the image together. They asked me to send some pictures of him, and I did. And when I messaged them, I asked them, can they do an article about my son? His Noneillah brand. They like, yeah, we know him. I'm like, who know
Mm.
who know my son?
mm,
So they said we know him and we know about it. I said, how you know my son? They said the community. I said, what community? Talking about the hip hop community.
yeah.
And so I said they invited me. Oh, this is a picture that he did. He did a photo shoot and he did because I took up web design, computer graphic,
Mm.
and he put little images to it. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks great.
He was good
Yes.
with Photoshop than I was. I was good with laying out books and everything with the Illustrator. He was good with Photoshop. And that oh that's you got that the what you call. But that other picture, oh, can you go back to the other picture? Not that one. That one. This is so painful. Do you know this is the last picture I took of my son? And a week later he gets killed. That was the last picture he took on this earth. And he got killed. So I think we went through all the pictures, right? Yeah, oh yeah, that's when he was younger. See his little big.
You should put that on a shirt. You should definitely put
Yeah.
that on a shirt.
Oh, I should put that on a shirt.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
when he was a
That'd be funny.
baby. I
Yeah.
put that up there on him, and I'm like, here, I'm gonna put these oh, and that's the other one. This on the you see him on the left here with his
Yeah.
suit and tie.
Yeah.
This when he just started breaking into the acting. Actually, his godmother connect him up with different acting agencies. Um,
Mm-mm.
Nice.
Adele kids out there in Long Island, and we had to do a photo shoot because they wanted pictures. And we
Mm.
was in New York, and he was no stranger to camera,
Not at all.
but he didn't like the makeup they put on his face. He's like, "That's
Oh yeah,
what
they
that ew, 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 that girl," because they had to put the
yeah,
fine.
they
It
gotta
was
put
that the
makeup.
Yep.
foundation. Like, "Ew, ew, ew." So he never he grew up in the industry, doing. I remember I used to have to run to like audition for commercials with him when Adele kids send them out and doing extra work. They send him out to a lot of extra work, but he didn't feel like going. And when he was younger, they actually emailed me to have him to be in the Goonies, and
Mm.
they was also emailed me have him to be in the Sopranos when they was taping in Montclair, but he was in camp at the time.
Mm.
Camp what's that?
Brett and
Brett
Deborah.
Endeavor,
Yep.
Camp Brett Endeavor. And this picture here with his little slob on it. Look, with the little slob spot.
A little chain.
Yeah,
So cute.
yeah, yeah. With the gold change, I'm quite sure you guys all had that picture when you're little with the little slob marks on it when you're a baby, and your mom break it like, Mom, do you have to show them that? Really, really? Can't you keep some to private?
Yeah.
But yeah,
That was a good
so
picture though.
Yeah.
He would appreciate that.
yeah, I just wanted to share it with him, and I guess we get and that last one, that picture with the birthday. So that's today is your birthday. So I put
Mm.
that together,
Nice.
which is, painful. you know, and I keep saying, that driver saw my son, and he continued on end up my son's life.
Mhm.
When I read in the files, he sped up and aimed it towards my son. And when I look at the video, he has no remorse into my son's life, none whatsoever. He put on this the driver put on this big old act and like, oh, I didn't do I didn't see him. Then he turned around, like, I saw him and I see him. Then the attorney from transit coaches a Michael Tuesday like, oh, remember you didn't see anyone. And I'm listening to this video in like disbelief. And the prosecutor saying, "Oh, this doesn't happen all the time. You one of the few that happened to," which is a lie. If you Google "Justice for New Jersey Transit Coaches Victim," you see it happen all the time. They
Wow.
take in articles that is written up on Deshaun with the evidence attached. They remove all those articles, all of them, to cover it up
Wow.
for this driver. But I still have that video with the deposition where he constantly lying. I have both of the videos up there. He lying, and then after that, the Michael Tuzo, the lawyer, told my son, "Oh well, I know these men. I know these gentlemen. You don't have anything to worry about. They're gonna take care of everything."
Hmm.
The video off the bus, it hurts me to say that was the word. Every time I hear the word BUS, it just gives chills and it hurts my head. Um, like this pastor told me, I'm like, is why it's not healing. He said because your spirit is broken,
Hmm.
your spirit is torn because your son was a part of you and being snatched from you.
Mm.
You
Needs care.
Yeah, it's something that snatched from out your spirit. How the pastor was breaking it down. Some people would sit here like I was sharing with Mike about these political cliche. Like this one female, like, oh, you know what, being out of body. First, you said, your son is not around. I don't see why people going to the cemetery. There's no need to be going to the cemetery. He's not there. I said, excuse me. First of all, there's not. Did you sit with God? God told you that. Did he call you up? You know, So I'm like, how can you say something thing like that? I said, how can you sit here? You sit here cursing. You giving me scripture. You cursing. You gossiping. The Bible talks a lot about gossiping.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I said, how can you sit here and cast a stone on somebody and move to play up a person eye? Oh, you know what? People are atheists because I tell people I don't want to hear about God. I said, yes, I don't want to hear about God. Oh, you an atheist? That don't make me an atheist. I said, you don't know me. And I'm
Mm,
quite sure Sean probably share with you, Wendy, how very spiritual I was
yeah.
and very grounded,
Yes.
Bible reading, praying.
Yeah.
So, like I said, people who don't know me in the past, you have nothing saying for. You're just looking at the wounded shell
Yeah.
and a wounded spirit and a broken spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her because she shared with a friend of hers, daughter going through the same thing. I said,
Mm.
how you going to counsel this woman? Yeah, the female people, not female, but people who lost their loved one and they living by the Bible. Like the Bible said, I'm promised to see you will be blessed to see your children. But you giving somebody counseling, and I told the mother my advice to her, you know what? Don't push the Bible on her. I'm not saying you can present it and leave it alone, but don't push it. God didn't sit there and beat you on the head with the Bible, or Jesus didn't beat you on the head. You got good, you got to shove it, you got to shove it. No, you present it. And I said, a person, according to the Bible, it say people see by your fruit. Had a big conversation. The lady like the fruit meaning when the child is in my body and it birthed out. I'm like, what? I say, no, the fruit is a spiritual fruit. When you see somebody carrying themselves in a certain humble,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual manner, it's still this fruit. The lady like, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. I said, how it's not? It's love, kindness. Yes, it's love, kindness. And it's also the things that you do and say.
Mm.
Yes.
It's a spiritual fruit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
said, okay, let's get away from it because I don't want to argue about the Bible. And we were talking about discernment. She said, yeah, we people got discernment. I said, well, yeah, spiritual discernment. No, it's not spiritual discernment. I said, yes, it is. Yes, this is this ignorant. This ignorant stuff.
Ignorance. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
About that.
what? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because you're an atheist. I said, how can you call somebody atheist? Because a person don't want to hear it because it's not that time.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm not going to get upset with you because, I said, because my understanding a level of spiritual walk is different than your level.
Correct.
And I'm like, the Bible talk about false teaching.
Yeah.
And she's sharing these things was not false. So after that, what I did, I said, okay, they don't take my word. So I Googled the scripture. She really get upset with me. I said, but how can you get upset with me? We talking about the Bible. Why you getting upset with me? I said, you better call God up because he wrote this. Whomever wrote this, I didn't write this. I'm
Yeah, I
just
know
reading.
he wrote it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just reading from it. Why?
Yeah.
Because your spirit is being convicted and you calling everybody the devil and everything, but you're not knowing the lying within you.
Right.
Right. I was gonna say that like she's preaching to you, but sometimes even the devil can try to preach to people. And I'm not calling her the devil, but she's speaking words to try to do more harm than help.
You're
So
right. Yeah.
that's
Which is why we
that's a
have to
sign of
discern spirits. You
right.
know.
And that's what I told her. I said, God give everybody a gift. Or everybody a gift. I said, I'm not talking about the people who's not God. I mean, we all have gifts regardless. Whether it's writing, whether it's we all have creative gifts.
Yes.
Everybody.
That's true.
Communication, whatever it created. But what I'm talking about spiritual gift, different people have spiritual gift.
Yeah. Some have compassion more than others, you know. And
And
yeah, it sucks. And I'm sorry that people were poor representations of Christ to you in a moment where, of all the scriptures that people use when it comes to comfort and compassion to someone who experiences a tragic loss, I think about weeping with those who weep and mourning with those who mourn. And like the sorrow lasts for the night, but joy comes in the morning. But the joy can only come if you go through the sorrow. And so we have to kind of stay with people in that moment. And I always think about Jesus. People tend to be really sucky representations of him, but Jesus is still the same, yesterday, today, and forever. And I think about the moment where Jesus grieved when Lazarus had passed away. And if this is the Son of God that everybody wants to represent, like we can't just bypass when something tragic happens because even Jesus took the time to grieve. And
with
so,
the mourning person, with the grieving
Yeah,
widow.
with the yep.
but
Yeah,
even Lazarus was a friend of Jesus. Like it was Mary and Martha's brother. And so he grieved because that he lost a friend. And so some translations say like Jesus wept, Jesus mourned, but this just the point of like people who want to represent Christ may want to bypass the pain and the sorrow, or maybe, hey, it's time to move on, or blah blah blah. But I'm just saying, this is the Son of God who came to earth as a representation of God himself in the flesh, and he took that time to mourn. And so it's important that we recognize that we can slow down, and if this is pain and sorrow, that we can be there in that moment. And it's okay for us as believers, like if someone could be a sister to you and be in that with you, and not try to speed up the process of you moving on, or whatever that looks like. But he even says in Hebrews 12 that we have a great high priest who empathizes with us. And so I think Jesus is able to connect with any type of emotion that you have, and the process in which we like remember Deshaun. Like I'm so thankful, one, to just even be here, but two, how you sustain the legacy of him. Like, this is all the stuff that you're doing is legacy stuff for him, so that people will
Right.
never forget him.
It's great.
Thank
I
you.
One of the reasons why I like it's just like how I how I remember Deshaun is like, I always tell people, like, there are just, I have like a top five of funniest people I know. And, everybody always jokes around like, oh, who's your number one? Who's your number two? Da, da, da. But like, I live in the memory of his joy and his humor and his ability to um, unapologetically be himself. And if my way of time capsuling Deshaun is remembering that, is that like I have the ability to be myself, and look at the legacy he left behind by just being himself. And so you are able to do it through all of the amazing, you're talking about gifts and talent, through all the amazing things that Deshaun was able to do, you're able to sustain. I mean, we lost a lot of tragic people, a lot of tragic artists back in the day, right? We have Tupac and Biggie and all these, but their memory still lives on through their music. And so you preserving his art is like a time capsule that we'll never have to forget him, because of how you sustained it. Like, just the memory of who he is, in his art, in his pictures, in his writings, in his visuals. So I just
And
thank you for that.
thank you. And I think Mike for actually is still a legacy because he collaborated with Deshaun.
Yeah.
And I will
And without
continue to
the
collaborate with him. I'm gonna
Yeah.
and
remix that song over and over again
Yeah,
until I
yeah,
get it.
come on.
and you add the collaboration with him, you and him together is part of the history and legacy to continue on. Even when I'm not here and we're not all in here, but at least it's still there to continue on. And like with the Noneillah, as you know, when he rapped a song, that was his tagline, Noneillah.
Mhm.
And so, as you know, it branched out to the Noneillah fashion because I do the designs.
Yes.
The Noneillah talk show now, the Noneillah entertainment. We have Noneillah Roku. And again, I still say it's just not me. My son is living within me and giving me these visions. And like I shared with the female who was talking about, so, oh, well, the Bible said, being out of body, be present with the Lamb, with God. Then she said, but when you're gone, you're not around, you up to a judgment day. I said, that's contradicting itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I just think, that it's not, I'm not strong. It is hard every day. What I do, I come here to trying to put up this facade. As you see, I'm breaking down, but I'm really trying to hold all my being, because if I really do, my tremors, because I suffer with disability. I'm quite sure you remember when I had the car
Mhm.
accident.
Mhm.
The Bloomfield police officer was chasing a stolen car, hit me head on. Sean was at camp that day.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm.
Remember, I think he was
Yes.
there, and he
Yeah.
had to leave early because of what
Yes.
happened.
Yep.
And I'm quite sure you saw the whole terrifying moment
Him. Yeah.
when
Yeah.
he learned that I was almost dying.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm quite sure, and you don't see him break down, but he broke down because he because I heard
His
him over the
world.
phone. I
That
don't
was
know
his
what he,
world.
huh?
You were his whole world. So that was like
Right.
his world crashing. Yeah.
So I don't know, was he on the phone talking to you or the female Alicia he was dating? Because he
He
was
was
crying.
talking to me. Yeah, he was talking to me. Maybe he talked to Alicia some at that point too, but I was only aware of like how when we communicated.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he said he was on the phone. I happened to walk past. He like, I don't know what I'm gonna ever do with my mom if something ever happened, because that's all I have.
Yeah.
That's all I have. That's my life. He like, yeah, I have family, but my mom and I so close. That's all I have. And I don't know what I don't know if I'm gonna be able to live if something never happened to my mom.
Hmm.
But we would like to try to close it out with good memory or something. If Deshaun was here, what would you say to him on his birthday? Well, his birthday March the 5th, but the TV station is not open on the weekend, so that's like I'm at dinner March the 3rd.
Right.
So starting,
I'll go first.
okay, go ahead.
If the Deshaun was here today and we were celebrating his birthday, I'll be like, "Yo, let's go get some ramen."
Oh wow, yeah.
Cause he's such an anime head. We would just go
Yes.
do anime stuff. Like, yo, let's go play video games and go eat ramen.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
would, I think that would just like brighten him up so much.
And what's the Mike? What's the again last moment in memory that
The
you hold
last
deep in your heart that
the
you
last
share
moment
with?
in memory was when I told you, like I said before, like me and Deshaun were in Brooklyn. We're actually near the water, just like looking on the other side and just talking about music and what we wanted to do moving forward. And yeah, we actually had food. I think we did have ramen that day though, but like we had a great time. It's and you know, I don't know, like I always when I every time I think of Sean, I think of like the last moment, which was us having a great time in the city and just being us, young us,
Yeah.
like
Mhm. And are you? I don't want to cut you off. Finish.
yeah, that's I can go on forever, what I mean? But yeah, we could, like I said, we could definitely talk
When
after this too, but
Winnie,
Yeah.
what if he was here, what would your thing that you would like to share and tell him?
Yeah, I probably would have thrown him a birthday party just with some close friends and just let him be him in the party. Probably clapping off beat on purpose to a song, and he probably would be forcing people to eat cake. Um, and yeah, just really like having a good time, probably doing his favorite things, like Mike was saying. It would be he's a celebration all in himself. And so I think he really valued his friends and his peace. Like he really was good at sustaining his peace. He wasn't around people he didn't want to be around, and so
Drama. He just like his mama. Because I
yeah,
said when he used to start to cut you off because people like,
yeah,
well, once you bring your mother, my son used to say, if it's drama, my mother is not coming here. Like this one lady wanted to get a notary sign because I'm a notary,
yeah,
and she wanted something she wanted something notarized, and she wanted me to come around where what's his name on Forest Street with Ice Girl and them at,
mm,
and Deshaun like, it's drama here. My mother's not coming here. He said, if you want your paper to be signed, I need to take you to her. He said, I'm telling you, you're gonna be waiting here all day. You're not gonna get a sign. He said, because my mother don't do well with drama, and which is true. So
yeah.
as you see, that's why he's the way he is. Because
He
I
loved
told
it.
him, stay away from gossip, stay away from drama. If it's that way, you go the opposite way.
yep,
Yeah, that was him. Yeah.
You
yep,
know,
that's
don't have
exactly
time
it.
for that.
Yeah, that's why I would think that the gift for him would be around just bringing him around his friends and just doing it. He loves his friends and just doing things that he would love to do. Yeah, and just celebrate him because just of how good a friend he is, and probably would get talking about music. Probably would get talking about. Um, he loved entertainment. He loved a good show, and yeah, that's why I feel like even in celebrating his memory, I just think that it's like worth maybe even getting a bowl of ramen so I could just be
Yeah,
like, just enjoying him because that's what I would be doing with him.
play
Well,
some
Mark,
beats.
Play some beats. Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
I've been
Probably
trying
play
to
some
get
Soul Calibur. He was ridiculously good, Soul Calibur.
Nah, I don't
He
know. I
loved.
would have just. I would have.
um,
We what game we played? Marvel vs. Capcom. That
Yes.
was definitely one of the games
Yeah. We had an
I
Xbox at
finally
the
had to
camp.
play.
So I think we were limited, but
Yeah.
yeah.
well, on March the 5th, we are going to get some ramen noodles
I'm going
and
to. I'll take
I'm gonna
pictures. It'll
play
Yeah.
his
be
music. And
yeah.
next time when I have the show, I would like to have you, Wendy, and on another segment talk about spirituality,
Yeah. I'd love to.
if you don't mind. On the next show, we
Yeah.
can work that out.
Sure.
And we go connect Mike, and if you want to do another segment
Sure.
later on, you
Whatever you
always
want to talk
can
about.
message me. So I
Okay.
don't want to be long winded. And I thank you guys. And I thank everybody for watching the Now Illa Talk Show at CNNJN. And fast for right quick, Wendy, where people can find you.
Oh, I'm the Wits of Wen on all platforms. So if you just look for the Wits of Wen, or if you look my name up, WENNIE, and then my last name is Saintville, SAINT hyphen VIL. I'm on all platforms. So my
On
music and my
TikTok.
podcast would come up.
You guys on TikTok as well?
Yeah, the Wits of Wen on Instagram, TikTok. Yeah.
I'll
So,
follow you
Well,
back.
oh, sweet. I'm gonna hit you.
and
I'll
Follow
follow
you
you.
back.
you can watch the Now Illa Talk Show and CNJ. You know I got to get together, right? CNJ, and because it used to Prince TV. And you can watch them on all their platforms. And the Now Illa Talk Show is all on social media. And to keep Deshaun legacy and memory alive, you can stream his music on all platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, you name it. And again, thank you for watching our talk show. I don't like to say happy birthday because, believe it or not, there's nothing happy about about this birthday because my son is not here. But I know Deshaun, his spirit, his energy is surrounding us, and he's smiling. And I still know that the spirit is still around us. And yes, there's is spirits that is not good spirits, but you also believe in back in the day, our ancestors, that's what they used to people used to pray to their ancestors.
Mm.
So again, thank you for watching the Naila Talk Show. I'm your host, Naomi Johnson at CNJC. Bye.